Years ago, this grand house stood as a fortress of joy. Laughter rang through its halls, and little Amina, the only daughter of the proud Okoro family, ran freely across its polished floors. Her father was a respected merchant, her mother known for generosity. But prosperity breeds envy. When her father's rivals orchestrated his ruin with forged debts and fabricated scandals, the family lost everything. Amina, still a child, was whisked away under the cover of night, her parents disgraced and exiled. By dawn, another family occupied their estate, parading as rightful owners. For years, Amina lived in shadows, first as a ward of strangers, then as a servant who dared not reveal her name. Each sweep of the broom, each plate she scrubbed, was a silent vow. One day, she would reclaim her birthright. The ward saw a maid. But inside her beat the heart of an heiress betrayed. The household she now served was nothing like the warmth she remembered. The new madam ruled with cruelty disguised as refinement, her words cutting deeper than any whip. Guests treated Amina as invisible, sometimes worse, an object for ridicule. Her silence became her shield. She scrubbed floors until her fingers bled, carried trays too heavy for her frame, endured insults that branded her soul. Yet, she never cried in their presence. Each humiliation she stored like kindling, fuel for a fire she dared not yet light. At night, in the small room where servants slept, she traced her family crest etched into a locket she hid under her clothes. That emblem reminded her of who she truly was. The others saw rags, she saw armor. The madam believed Amina's spirit was broken. But she was wrong. Amina's silence was not weakness, it was patience sharpening into strength. One rainy evening, while delivering tea to a guest, Amina overheard hushed voices in the study. Papers rustled, secrets spilled. The Okoro land case is resurfacing, one voice muttered. Amina froze at the threshold. The man speaking was a lawyer, trusted by the very family who had stolen everything. Carefully, she noted names, dates, fragments of conversation. That night, she sought him out in the city, disguising herself as a beggar. At first, he dismissed her. But when she revealed her true identity, her parents' names, her childhood memories of the house, his disbelief softened into recognition. He had once known her father, respected his honor. Now, with trembling hands, he agreed to help. For the first time, Amina wasn't alone. She had an ally. Together, they began gathering evidence, forged documents, testimonies of old neighbors, the truth buried under lies. Quietly, the foundations of justice began to stir. Months turned into years of careful maneuvering. Amina still played her role as the obedient maid by day, but by night, she became a strategist. She copied ledgers, collected receipts, and smuggled out letters, all proof of fraud. Each discovery brought her closer to victory. Still, the risk was enormous. One wrong move, and the family would cast her into the streets, or worse. Yet, every insult hurled at her only steeled her resolve. When guests laughed at her clumsiness, she smiled inwardly, knowing she held their fate in her hands. Servants whispered about her odd calmness, unaware of the storm she was preparing. The lawyer filed petitions quietly, delaying suspicion. Every court visit in the city was another step toward reclamation. While the household feasted above, Amina plotted below. Her silence grew louder than their mockery. And when the time came, it would shatter their laughter like glass. The night of the grand dinner arrived. Wealthy neighbors filled the hall, glasses clinked, music swelled. Amina carried trays as usual, her face lowered, her steps measured. Yet beneath her servant's uniform, she wore her locket pressed against her chest, a reminder of what was about to unfold. When the tray crashed to the ground and insults filled the air, she knew the moment had come. Calmly, she stood tall. For the first time, her voice carried across the room, "Do you know who I am?" Laughter erupted, dismissive and cruel. She reached into her pocket and produced documents sealed by the court. The room fell silent. "This house," she declared, her tone steady, "was stolen from my family. Today, justice returns it to its rightful heirs. Gasps spread like fire. The madam's face drained of color, her hand trembling over her wine glass. The silence in the room was deafening. Slowly, the lawyer stepped forward from among the guests, affirming her claim with the authority of the court. Eyes widened, whispers spread like ripples across a pond. The woman they had scorned, the maid they had mocked, was no servant at all, she was the true mistress of the estate. Amina lifted her chin, her voice steady but unyielding. For years, you saw me as nothing. Tonight, you will remember my name, Amina Okoro. The madam's protest dissolved into weak murmurs, silenced by the gavel of justice. One by one, the guests bowed their heads, not from respect, but from shame. And as Amina walked out of the dining hall, the world finally saw her not as a maid, but as a woman who turned her silence into strength, her suffering into power, and her disgrace into triumph. With this I leave this quote: never despise the lowly, greatness often hides in humility.